Welcome back on this Friday to Better. So a lot of modern warfare takes place not on a distant battlefield, but in our computers and on our smartphones.
In studio with us is local cyber expert Stan Prager from Gogeeks with more. Now, Stan, how do we avoid this warfare? We don't want to even enter
We don't want to even be drafted for this one.
So let's do part one first.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
It's been in the news. Microsoft announced that 10,000 of its customers have been targeted in the last year by nation-state cyber attacks. These are cyber attacks deliberately launched by Iran, North Korea, and Russia primarily.
When you say customers of Microsoft, you're talking like businesses?
Well,
it's not like Joe Blow from Des Moines.
It actually is as
It
well.
is?
So it turns out that about
bit of both.
85% of it is businesses, but about 15% of it are individuals. And they're primarily trying to target people who are associated with think tanks and involved in
okay.
politics, what have you. A lot of it goes back to the Russian election meddling in 2016 and looking towards potential election meddling in 2020. But it turns out they're casting a very wide net. And all the data mining isn't related to, disrupting democratic institutions. The big news this week that was covered in the major media was that Microsoft is offering this election guard software for people so that they could protect their elections. And,
Very specific.
Very specific, exactly. But what wasn't covered by the
What
major
does
media...
Microsoft have to do with elections in the first place? Am I being naive? Or
They don't have anything to do with it, but
Okay.
they've come up with software that will help people keep the ballot boxes safe. And
Okay.
to double check it,
I
to make
see.
sure that the actual votes that are being put in there are coming out correctly. Because there's concern with election tampering. And all of these cyber attacks play a role in it.
Sure.
But the part that struck me that hasn't been covered in the major media with this is that the average individual who's part of this. And a lot of people are just thinking, it's very esoteric. Well, it's just big companies and I'm not in a think tank or whatever. But
Right.
15% of these victims were just average, Joes. So, and Janes. So I think it's important that everybody, find a way to protect themselves from this. Even if you're not part of a think tank or part of an election, organization or something.
it's just good policy.
Well, exactly.
But how do you protect yourself from a foreign nation state? I mean, it sounds like a pretty big task.
Right.
Well, you actually protect yourself exactly the same way you would from any cyber attack,
Okay.
from Ukrainian criminals, from anybody else going after you. The primary way we found recently that they're getting in to systems, both businesses and individuals, and randomly is through email. So very, very important that you protect your email by changing your password, having a strong password, and changing it frequently, because what they do is they get into your email and they lurk for months, sometimes a year, and they'll collect all your information. So that's the number one thing. Number two thing is if you notice your computer's like behaving wonky or slow or whatever, have an expert check it out. Have a professional check it out.
for us.
We, at GoGeeks, we tell people all the time, bring it in, let us look at
Sure.
it, because if you do have malware on there, you want to find out about it. You don't want to be a victim.
Great advice.
right.
Good to see you, Stan.
Good to see you.
Thank you.